Workflow rules allow our customers to customize how their workflows operate within Mosaic, delivering built-in configuration that you can tailor to support your local processes and dramatically reduce the margin for error. Workflow rules allow you to make next actions inclusive or exclusive of each other. They allow you to make next actions mandatory, and they also allow you to make next actions mandatory based on an answer to a question in a form. Finally, workflow rules allow you to prevent or ensure that a next action is the sole next action. Let's take a look now at some workflow rules in action within Mosaic. Here we can see an adult safeguarding concern for Charlotte Ford. Whilst this is an adult social care example, this functionality can be used equally when working with children and young people. At this stage, we have completed the safeguarding workflow step and all mandatory forms. Therefore, we need to select a next action. At this stage, if we select Add, we can see in the drop-down menu the options that we have for our next actions. On this occasion, we will select Information and Advice. Once selected, if we select Add and Close, here we can see a validation message, which states that the adult safeguarding decision is a required action and is not yet added for Charlotte Ford. It also states that information and advice cannot be the only action for Charlotte Ford. This workflow validation rule informs us that information and advice cannot be the sole next action, and also that the adult safeguarding decision is mandatory, ensuring that this workflow cannot be finished without a decision being made regarding the safeguarding concern. Therefore, if we add the adult safeguarding decision next action, and today I will assign that to myself, and once again select Add and Close, we can see that this now addresses both of those validation prompts. Having addressed both of the configured workflow rules, this now removes this validation and will allow us, as the end user, to move on in the process. This is an example of a workflow rule set against information and advice, where a next action cannot be sole, and also a workflow rule set against the adult safeguarding decision for a mandatory next action, allowing us to finish our workflow step and move on to the adult safeguarding decision. Moving now to the configuration tool within Mosaic, we will now look at how workflow rules are configured within the system. Within the step definition editor, for the workflow step, we can see here the adult safeguarding concern from earlier. There is a tab called Next Action Rules. Once selected, we can see a list of the next actions from the adult safeguarding concern. Within the table, we can see that for the adult safeguarding decision, this is a mandatory step from the adult safeguarding concern. We can also see that for information and advice as a next action, we have created a workflow rule to state that this cannot be sole. Selecting the edit pencil for any of these next actions within a workflow step would allow you to amend existing workflow rules or create new workflow rules. Let's recap. Workflow rules make the system even more simple to use by supporting workers to easily follow the appropriate workflows. They reduce the need for intervention by system administration, as rules can prevent workers from missing key next actions, having to ask for steps to be reopened, and can prevent workers adding incorrect next actions, resulting in steps being deleted. They can prevent key information being missed by reducing the possibility of creating and recording duplicate steps. Workflow rules allow workflow to be responsive to a person's specific situation by linking mandatory next actions to specific answers to questions. They can ensure that where a key action is required as part of a workflow process, this cannot be missed by a worker. And finally, they can ensure that inconsistent or illogical workflow choices cannot be made and save time required to correct these at a future point.